Okay, got the card.
Last one left, his office.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes, sir. You're welcome.
Cutting it kind of close. Some of them cutting it kind of close.
So what did you have for lunch?
I had lasagna.
Your wife cooked it?
Yep. No, wait, that's misleading. I had leftover lasagna.
That's officially now recorded.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just let you
Hello,
know.
how's everyone?
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
doing?
Good, good.
I don't think he mind about
You don't think so?
lasagna.
Well, hello there.
Y'all doing okay?
All right.
I don't think he mind want to hear about lasagna.
Yeah. All set up for that.
Yeah, I was setting you up so you can see if you. Oh boy, I think I forgot y'all water. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
I think I forgot to tell her.
Thank you. Hello.
Don't want one right
Yeah, I will. I will.
Looking at that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she telling me to pay him.
Is this in there?
Yeah.
But then that I mentioned to them for him to go ahead and mow the
Yeah, I saw
yard,
that.
I feel it's my responsibility. I've been to
That's
put
the
off, she's going to
verbiage.
give me my money.
Well, these two paragraphs.
Okay, and I'll get it from him. I get it from him. Okay, okay.
Yeah, she's talking about this.
Probably not, but at least she'll give me my,
When
she
you
gonna,
hired,
she gonna give me my money.
you would have to go on a parish
Okay.
right now.
Bye. You tell somebody to do something, then when I tell you how
You
much you
can
gonna
ask
charge
for
it,
that.
they ain't
That's
got no money.
confusing, but you're voting on
The person
whether
to-
you can allow an
I'm getting my
employee
money.
space. So the wording of that is
I'm
not
gonna give the
clear.
person the money, cause I'm the one that said it.
Okay, yeah, because I read that.
Yeah, that wording is a little unclear on 11.
A,
Yes.
I just put on there, y'all can tell me what the correct word, well,
Well,
the
he's already
guy.
got it written
Yeah, the
down.
guy already,
Yeah.
from the
Okay, okay,
attorney thing, already had it on there.
okay, yeah.
It's on 11 Alpha, yeah.
Yes, I saw that, and then when I see this, I'm thinking, wait a minute. All right, good deal.
Yep. That's when we have these work sessions, so you give me the correct wording before it go out to the public. But after I did it, he had sent it to me.
Good afternoon.
Hello, gentlemen. And Marty too.
Oh, y'all dragging in, y'all got 3 minutes.
Yes.
Man, you got plenty of time.
How
No,
you?
y'all supposed to be already get set.
I am good too. It's good and hot out there too, ain't it?
Well, the reason is because we came around there
Yes, ma'am, my friend.
to see what you were doing, you wasn't there.
Oh,
We
I'm
just
sorry,
come straight up
that's my
here.
pile.
I'm gonna look
We've been
at
all
it. You
right.
better watch if it lays in front of me. I'm gonna look at it. That's what you see me, look.
I will make sure my phone.
I thought you'd give me something to read. I'll read it.
You can look to everything. It's just I printed out email, and then I put all these images together and printed that out.
Oh, okay, I figured you
You're
something
welcome to
to talk
look.
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes got this came to the office. Yeah, Mr. Holmes had this come to my office, so he called too.
I got two of them.
Since now I'm collecting y'all mail.
Thank you, I
You know what I'm
appreciate it.
saying? We got access from
Technology exchange.
same area.
Oh, I just came to y'all too.
I'm saying, did you get this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to recognize what conference. we
Oh,
went
you
to.
opened it up.
I opened up one of them, the other one. I didn't.
Okay, so these are something you opened up.
They
Okay.
special, huh? They special.
Yeah.
Special.
I didn't get
I'm the
none.
specials I need to be.
Special.
Miss Harris, how you doing today? Fine. Doing good. I'll put this on side.
You know, I've talked to her and I've seen her.
I get busted.
I mean, I know her name and stuff, but I never seen her. Never been there before. Yeah. Well,
Okay, we got 1 minute.
she's, she's not gonna get a vote. She's just here to talk about,
Hey there.
you got the guy from, Renegade? Yeah. Recognize the face.
It's not, looks like the boat's gonna list.
Did we even call the roll call? Okay.
No, but, I'm sorry.
This morning, see.
You don't do it, please?
We can do it later. I do it prayer and pledge.
What do you think about the,
Do you know who he's talking about? Do you know?
you seen bought into this, like,
It's
He's
1
been in
o'clock.
that here before.
all right, let's get started, 1 o'clock. We'll ask, Ms. Cheatwood to give us an invocation, and we have, pledge, and we'll get started.
Father, we thank you, Lord, as we come before you, Lord. We just thank you for your mercy and grace. We just thank you for your mighty hand that leads, guides, and directs us, Father God, in this meeting today, Lord God. And we just thank you, Father, that we can come together, Father, work together as a unit, Father God, to do for the best of the people of this parish. And we thank you and praise you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Cheryl.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and we're gonna start our work session off. Is Miss Jessica Broadway is here? Okay. Anyone from Waste Management here?
Waste Connection.
Waste Connection. You can come up.
Okay. Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name's Bruce Emily.
Oh, hi, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. How you doing?
How are you? Let me give you my card.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Thank you. Good to see you.
How you doing? There you are. Thanks you need one.
I don't wanna forget you, cause you take care of everything else.
Okay, so I came before you today to talk to you about the transfer station contract, which is actually expiring August 31st.
Yes.
And so the way, I guess, that I came here, spoke to Mr. Salter the other day, and he explained to me that we're not gonna renew the contract, and then further, we're not gonna renew the contract for the hauling in June. That the parish is gonna go back into the garbage business. So that's short notice for us, a couple weeks, because this was just last Wednesday, I believe, when we met. The short notice really is difficult for us, as well as the other people that use the transfer station. So we had a brief discussion, very brief, and I explained to him that the equipment out there is ours. And, we'd have to remove it by the 31st. And it doesn't leave us really any options in order to continue to service. So if the transfer station does close on that short notice, first I'm gonna have to somehow get additional trucks and additional people. That's not gonna happen in 2 weeks. So at a minimum, I need a much longer time frame in order to kind of do this and make it make sense for everybody. So I'll take any questions you have. That's kind of our position, if you would, that to shut it down in 2 weeks is gonna cause a lot of problems for your constituents, and of course, a lot of problems for us as well. So if you have any questions regarding that, I'm happy to answer them.
I'm not sure where that decision came from in the first place.
No, neither.
What decision?
We're gonna shut it down.
Well, that wasn't exactly what was said. I told him my intention was to take it over and we was gonna go back to garbage business. And that's when he told me that that was his equipment out there, and I told him it was on our property. And he said that we would probably end up in court, and I said, well, whatever, go ahead and get your attorneys and we'll talk about it. But it was, like you said, it was a short meeting, and I didn't tell him I was gonna take it back on the first. That wasn't the word I used. I said my intention was to go back to garbage business. So I don't know if we can do a month to month till we get it straightened out. And I did meet with some more people at another company yesterday, and you may be the cheapest one, I don't know.
Yeah, well, as far as the, as going month to month, yeah, I mean, that's better than nothing. They'll give me a couple months to get some people and make that work. What I'm trying to find out, I guess, what is the objective of the parish to take over the transfer station? Where do you think you're gonna get the revenue, the garbage, to operate that?
Well, that thing was built, Mr. Bruce, by the people of District 40, which is everything outside the city limits. This wasn't for Natchitoches garbage. This was for people out.
Uh-huh.
And we used to keep up 180 bin sites and get rid of them, you know, for around $1 million. That was way back in 2000. So now, what we're trying to do, that money can also be used on Parish Road. Whatever over what we had to do to collect and dispose of our household garbage.
What money?
The tax dollars that pays for that paid and built that whole transfer station out there in the beginning.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is save money and pick our garbage up, and then if anybody else like you or Natchitoches wants to come across our scale and use our facility, you can pay us instead of us paying you.
Okay,
Does
so
that make sense?
well, it makes sense if you have a disposal facility and a landfill and you own a landfill, that,
Well, there's other landfill besides you taking mine to Oakdale, when you could be taking Sabine or Monday, that's closer, it wouldn't cost me near as much.
oh,
You know.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I know you don't, but.
Well, your contract, your hauling contract, you currently pay 34 a ton. That's what you pay us. Started at 31 and now it's at 34. The gate rate at DeSoto is like 56. The gate rate at Sabine is 56 or 58. So I don't agree with your statement at
How
all.
much is it at Oakdale?
You pay 34 a ton to me, right? And I run it through my transfer and I take it to Oakdale. I own Oakdale.
How many tons did you take down there for me last year?
I don't know.
You don't know?
From your particular, from
District 40?
Natchitoches Parish,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you don't know?
I have to figure it out. I mean, I could tell you, whatever it is, like I said, it's a 34 ton, not 50 some a ton. And keep in mind, I'm charging you 34 a ton. You're gonna have to pay, I mean, I don't know what you have to negotiate a rate at the landfill, but their gate rate is 56. You've got all the expense from the transfer station to get it to the landfill. You pay the gate rate when you get there. But you've got all the expense of the transfer station to move it. And right now, we have, of course, we're moving a lot more volume, but I have 7 trailers, which are 145,000 apiece. I got 2 compactors, which are 80,000 apiece. I've got a loader in there, I've got a bobcat in there, I've got 3 employees that operate that. So there's a tremendous amount of cost, and I think if you do the math, you're gonna find out, for you to move waste out of that transfer, I don't know, at that low volume, it's probably gonna cost you, I don't even know, $10 to $20 a ton. So you get 10 to 20 to move it from the transfer to the landfill, and then you gotta pay the gate rate to landfill.
So are you bringing any other garbage to my facility that belongs to Natchitoches Parish and charging them to move theirs and using my facility? Are you bringing Natchitoches across there?
Am I bringing what?
Natchitoches, the city
City
of
of
Natchitoches?
Natchitoches goes there, absolutely.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
that's my point. You're using our facility to make money, and we're not getting anything out of it, except we're paying you to haul what garbage we got off.
Okay, you're getting a rent for the facility.
Yeah, $2,500 a month.
Okay, well, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's, I call it facility, that's a piece of ground, that's what you're getting.
Yeah, a piece of concrete.
A piece of concrete, and I'm paying all the expense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I take the city of Natchitoches garbage there, of course. Now, if you take it over, the city of Natchitoches garbage isn't gonna go there.
It's what?
It's not gonna go there.
Well, that's fine, as long as I get to pick my bin sites up out in Parish.
Well, that's a
We'll be
separate
there.
contract.
That's right.
You can pick your bin sites up if you so choose, and that's fine. Again, keep in mind, those bin sites, we run a front loader out there and we run roll-offs out there.
Yeah.
We have all the bins, of course. A new front loader's $450,000.
Right.
And just to pick up your own stuff and nobody else's, and have that investment in that truck, if that works for you, I mean, that wouldn't work for
Well,
us.
my deal was to get away from front loaders, not even have a bin out there that the front loader, I'd just use a roll-off.
Well, that's perfectly fine if
Yeah, I
that's
bet, yeah.
what you wanna do. I'm here more about
I got
for
you.
today, about the
Okay,
transfer station.
okay.
And what are we gonna do August 31st? And it has to be renewed or not renewed. And if it's not renewed, August 31st, that changes everything. We have about 30 different customers that are your constituents that come in there every month. Now, unless I'm mistaken, when we close down, you're not gonna have a compactor there to take the stuff. You don't have any trailers there to put it in. So you're, August 31st, you're just closed.
You saying if we don't have those, if we don't have a trailer, if, but
Well, do you?
No?
how do you know? I have brought this up to y'all for how many months? Nobody said a word about it, so I'm trying to do it. You got a problem with me doing it? Well, I'll let you do it, Marty. If you think we ought to keep it, it don't matter to me, one way or the other. I'm just trying to get some extra money to put on my road.
We,
Yes, Cheryl.
go ahead, sir.
I mean, Kathy, I'm sorry.
I have a question. So in the contract, it says that our station has to be left in at least the compatibility that it was in when you took over the contract. It had compactors in it when you took over. So if you take yours, it's not in the same, what's the word? Condition that it was in when you took over the contract.
That's a good question. And those I think we've had that contract for probably 25 years. So those compactors were junk, they were scrap. They weren't owned by the parish, that's correct. And when we made this agreement 4 years ago, those compactors needed replaced. So with the prior administration, the agreement was that if we, as a company, Waste Connections, put in 200,000 or more of capital, that when the next contract renewal come up, it would be renewed for additional years.
It would be or it could be?
Could be. And the spirit of the deal was it would be, because we just invested 150,000 in compactors. And I've got the letter here from the scrap company that clearly states that Waste Connections did not benefit from the sale of those compactors.
So let me ask you a question. How much would you estimate those compactors weighed?
I don't know, you can get the exact information from these guys.
So my question is, first of all, those bin sites, the compactors belong to us. The council would have had to voted to surplus those to cut them up and sell them for scrap iron, which is initially what happened, right? They were cut up and sold for scrap iron, and we paid that company $4,000 to cut said compactors up. So who do you think benefited from the sale of the scrap of those compactors?
Well,
Wasn't the parish?
It wasn't us.
Really? So you don't think that company discounted the amount of their cost to cut them up and sell them by the amount that the metal was worth?
I would think so, yeah.
So who benefited because the price, instead of being, I don't know what it would have been, because I don't know how much they cost, or how much they weighed, how big they were. Do you think it's reasonable that that company reduced the amount of the cost by the amount of the weight?
I think that's probably reasonable.
So then who would have benefited by that cost reduction? The parish or Waste Connections? Because we didn't pay that invoice, you did. Does that make sense? Does everybody follow that?
Yeah, I follow that. And how much is the offset? I don't know, I could find out, but it's, to your point, it's not consequential.
However, we don't have, if you take your compactors, then our station is not left in the original condition that you found it in, junk, not junk, but at least they worked, and we had compactors, and there was a value to them because that company reduced the cost to remove them by that value, and you agree to that.
Yeah.
So they had a cost, they had a value, and if you take yours, there's no value. So it's not the same condition.
Okay. Well, and these compactors that are now 4 years old are not comparable to 25-year-old ones that were, quite frankly, they weren't operational. So you didn't have anything, you had junk. That's what you had.
Okay.
So either you replace them for 150,000 or I replace them for 150,000. I understand your point, and I'm not disagreeing with you, that it may have been offset by $3,000 or $4,000 in scrap metal, I don't know.
So was that not offset by, my opinion was, in good faith, that was offset by the amount of the rent, which is only $2,500 a month.
Now, I wouldn't agree with, that it'd be offset with the rent. What I would say is, instead of it costing, as an example, $190,000 to put in those two machines, right? Maybe it costs us $185,000. That's your point. The rent is a separate, total separate issue to me.
So you, if we extended this contract, you would expect the rent to stay at $2,500 a month?
I don't think I said that.
No, I'm asking. I'm not saying,
Oh.
I'm asking.
I
Is
think-
that,
I think-
or what do you think a reasonable rent would be?
That's a negotiable thing that,
Sure.
that we will have to look into. We don't, we have not decided what we're gonna do yet. That's something that will have to be voted on and brought to the table, okay? Right now,
Whoa,
this is just for
whoa, whoa, whoa,
information.
Who would we
The
making?
council,
I don't know if you make that decision, Bill. We're just in negotiations right now. If you want to get in negotiations and talk and learn
the
about what you're talking about, well,
council
then we
has
may say
a
we.
responsibility. And that's why we're sitting here in this work session meeting, because if we decide to put it on the agenda for Monday, then we'll be voting to either start a new contract, let the contract expire, et cetera, et cetera. We have to make a decision. We cannot let the parish have no means of getting rid of their trash. We can't discount the city. We can't shut this place down. Trash is just like death. It's coming every day. And it's gonna pile up and pile up and pile up and pile up, and we need a plan. We don't need to talk about anything but the plans. You got a plan, let us see the plan. It's how we're gonna do it, how we're gonna save money, et cetera, et cetera. They've come to us with a plan, and they're trying to present it right now. If somebody else, some other parish has a plan, you'd be standing there and telling us what the plan is, so we can make a reasonable decision on which way to go after the 31st of this month.
Before the 31st. Before. But anyway, that's good, Bruce. Let's get together and talk about this. Like I said, I met with some folks. I got some figures in mind, and I'll sit down and talk with you after today. Because nobody here understands what we're talking about, period, anyway, so they don't know what tipping fees is, they don't know nothing about garbage, and I'm like you, I've been digging with it since '90s.
Unfortunately, some of us do.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bill.
I would
That's all I
like
got to say. Well, I'll get with you, Bruce.
Okay. I would like to just make one comment so that you know. There was a building out there that we use for our employees for break room and restroom and so forth. So it was junk, and it just got to be worse and worse over the years. So last year I replaced that. That was $45,000, and that stays. So we made that investment, for our people. So, we try to keep it up. So things like that aren't in the contract, we continue to do that makes sense. So in that case, like I said, I had a guy's foot that went through the floor. So I didn't call you guys and say, hey, put a new building up here. We just went and bought a new building. We put it in. And again, when we leave, we understand that that's part of the structure. Where we have an issue is equipment, in our opinion, compactors are equipment, trailers are equipment, all that's why the contract's written the way it is. So, again, in our opinion, that equipment's all ours.
I'll get with you. Are you in town every day, or are you in and out? Have you got anybody in place yet to run your?
No, I'm not here every day, but I'm certainly available every day. In fact, when I leave here, I'm going back to Shreveport. So, just so you know, my role is I basically cover the state of Louisiana. And I've been around I've been living here in Louisiana 14 years. So I've been very familiar with, the Natchitoches City contract, this contract, and others. So I spend a lot of time here, but no, I'm not here every day.
I'll get with you.
Well, Mr. Salter, may I ask, are you still thinking about doing it internally, like you mentioned eventually?
Yeah,
I mean, so if you have a concept of the operation on that, we'd love to hear that, plus,
well, it was also brought up the other day, we're probably gonna meet in court over what we talked about here today, you know, so I've got he got attorneys, I got attorneys looking at different options and where it may lead to court or not. And we may have to stay with him until we get it cleared up, I don't know. But I have got some more prices, you don't look real bad to me. If that'll make you feel any better.
Well,
But like Bill did say, we got to keep the garbage moving.
well, that's right, and that was my concern, if it shuts down on the 31st, it's not gonna move.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a problem. And I mean, I'm gonna have the biggest problem,
Yeah.
but the parish can have a problem too. So we just need to think about that. And,
you say you were here 14 years, where were you here before you came here?
A lot of places. I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas. That's where I'm born and bred. But I've been in the waste business now 42 years, and I was originally with BFI.
Oh.
And so they transferred me around quite a bit. So I've really, I've been a lot of places. But yeah, I've been here the longest, in Louisiana. I lived in Shreveport, I lived in Monroe, and I lived in Shreveport, and I've been living in Lafayette for the last 9 years, yeah. And I come every year for the Christmas festival, and you probably see our place, we got a big place downtown. So we love Natchitoches, and we've had a great partnership with the parish for all these years, you know. Really never had any issues, so, yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is that it? Any
That's
questions?
it.
Julie
Okay.
got it.
Yeah, I have no more questions for him. I'm sorry I was late. I was trying to get Nick some information to get our notice to
Thank you,
proceed
We'll be in
on
touch with you.
Yes, sir.
American
Thank you.
Way. Did I say it right? Independence Drive and American Way. I always get, I want to say Independence Way and American. Thomas, Cunningham, Broadway, and Tote Beer. Did y'all discuss that?
No.
Okay, so she called me yesterday evening and said that she had talked to you, Mr. Allen, yesterday, and that she wanted to come, but you told her that it was full to talk about the audit and some other stuff that you wanted to discuss.
Well, it was not important to entertain it anymore. Basically, we had some, Mr. Chief and I had some specifics that we wanted to just ask her for better understanding, but for some reason she felt that she needed to talk to everybody for the presentation, and that was not what was necessary, because I had some conversation with some of the people that I know that work over there, just trying to have some understanding about the audits, the differences between the ones that they do and we do out at the port, just to try to get some ideas. And I think she misread what we were trying to do, and somebody made a phone call and she decided not to do it.
Somebody made a phone call.
Huh?
Somebody made a phone call. I'm lost.
I am too.
Okay, so she asked me if, I told her that if today wouldn't work, there is another work session Friday. And she asked if she and Mr. Thomas could come then, and then it wouldn't be as many things going on, and they could talk, answer whatever questions. So I told her I would ask if it would be permissible for her to come, her and Mr. Thomas to come Friday to that work session at 10 a.m., right? Is that the right time?
Well, Mark,
No,
what do you think?
about,
Can we come in?
oh, I mean, yeah, that would be the best use of time, yeah.
Okay.
So,
And these are the auditors that did the,
23, well, they've done the 23 audit, the 22, they've done it for years.
How much-
okay, and they just gave us their results.
Yeah, the book that you got was in that. I think, like Mr. Allen said, that he wanted to ask some other questions.
So I'm assuming we'll do it first, so we won't hold triad. Or who goes first?
That's your call.
Yeah, I'm assuming we'll get this knocked out first, because it won't take long, and then.
I don't think so.
And then we'll go.
I mean,
triad.
we can do triad first and do them, whichever y'all prefer. I
Well-
don't care.
Who would you rather keep waiting?
I don't, probably the auditors, because I'm not paying them right now. I'm paying triad by the hour.
I got you.
So,
Okay.
so I can let triad, I could probably just send her an email or a text and say, hey, we should be ready in the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, right? Because we're gonna have to get the Zoom set up for that anyway.
That's right.
Okay,
Can I,
okay. Ma'am,
can I ask a question? When, they come here, or she just presenting what she's doing for, did in 2023, or y'all have other questions y'all wanna give to her?
You talk about for triad?
No, for the auditor.
the way she presented me was
I mean,
Mr. Allen had questions.
I mean, are y'all gonna ask the questions Friday of her when she come? I'm just trying to get, go a route here. When she come here Friday, are y'all gonna listen to her, go over the 2023 findings of her, what she did? Or y'all gonna ask other questions of her?
I think both.
Well, it's good to do it at the work session. 'Cause I was gonna say she just can come Monday and do like she usually
Right.
do, but
But
since they're gonna
I
ask
think
questions.
what way she presented it to me, she said that they had questions. I think Mr. Allen and Mr. Cheatwood wanted to meet separately, and she said that she and Mr. Thomas would feel better if they met the council as a whole and addressed all the council at one time.
So Friday,
So that's all.
yeah,
I know.
just do it Friday, cause
That's
we
the
don't
reason
wanna
why-
take up Monday
Yeah.
with everything.
Okay,
That's why
I
I
will
was
let her know.
asking.
What do we pay them for out of the year?
It's in the check register. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head
No,
what exactly it is.
Would you like to do that?
8,000, 10,000?
Oh, no.
Well, it just came out on the,
You couldn't get 8 or 10 at Clarence.
it's like
could you?
14.
I couldn't get
that's
that
like
in France, so I know
$1,400
that.
on two things. It just
What?
came out on the,
What?
what you just sent, what you had paid them.
It's on the register.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in this month or last month.
It
but-
was like two prices. One
Yeah.
was for 14 and one was for
14 what?
1,000.
No,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I have
Go
to.
look.
I should be able to go on the website and look at the.
I didn't print it out, but I saw two things for them.
I should be able to go on the website and, or y'all should be able to look at your. I don't know if y'all
Yeah,
print
it's
it
on the
out.
website. I got it on the website.
I should be able to go there and look at the
Look it
finance
up.
report, and it should be in the.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Okay.
And you can look at us.
Yeah. All right, moving along, we gonna skip right quick and get Miss, from the tax commission, to come up, and we're gonna discuss the, C on page 3. Council to exempt or not to exempt businesses that fall within the boundaries of the EDD's, Economic Development District. During the time when we had, created this, it was said that it was for new businesses that comes in. And now, since now we got businesses in those districts, and the tax commission is wanting to know, what are y'all gonna do with it?
So I forwarded an email from Mike Posada to all the council yesterday. Did y'all see that?
Yep.
He didn't ask me to, but I thought it gave a little background that I didn't even know, because me and Mr. Hom, I don't know, had discussed what was the original intent and all that.
Yes.
So it gave a little insight that I wasn't sure. But of course, he says he would help us do whatever we decide to do, whether it is making a new ordinance to reset the boundaries or whatever we need to do, at no cost, he says, so.
Okay. Laura Jeffka, Tax Commission. Nice to see you this afternoon. My primary reason to be here, this ordinance went into effect April 1st, and it took a long time to get the mapping set up to where it would pinpoint the addresses of these businesses. We've got that now. I've made a list, I've presented it in an email to everyone. My question is now, these addresses, these businesses that fall into these new EDDs, I haven't notified them because I don't know where you stand. I don't know if you want me to assess them the extra rate, if they're grandfathered in and they just keep paying what they've been paying. What say you? Because I have to have something in writing. When these people start hollering at me, I don't want to give them your phone number, your phone number, your phone. I want to be able to show them, here's the memo, here's the letter, here's the amended resolution that says you now have to charge this sales tax or this hotel motel tax. That covers me and it covers you. I don't have anything like that. So that's why I haven't noticed it. I've not assessed them that extra tax. It's probably gonna be about $2,000-3,000 more a month in sales tax. Not for each of the EDDs, but as a collective. But again, I don't know that because I can't audit them if I don't have your permission to assess them. So I need to know what I do.
So my thought was, at the council meeting, y'all are gonna address it. I assume y'all are gonna make a decision whether you intend to include it and as it is and let it go forward, or you intend to introduce an ordinance to take them out, however the SADA says is
Amend
right.
it or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll have to amend the original ordinances that,
Resolution.
So I thought that we would be able to tell her something Tuesday after the meeting. Is that what you think?
We will be.
Okay,
That's-
awesome.
So Busada's letter states that his impression was the original intent of the ordinance was that these people would not have those additional sales taxes. Those people that were already in those EDDs, that only newly formed businesses after the ordinance, right?
Right,
That
that's
was
what he
his
says. The
impression.
original intent when creating the districts, where the districts would not include any parcels that contained existing retailers.
It just was not written up in that manner,
Yeah.
in my understanding, right?
Correct.
Right,
There's nothing in the ordinance.
there's
that
nothing in
says-
the ordinance that excludes them. But he did say that if that is something we want to do, he's happy to put together ordinances necessary to remove those parcels without any additional cost.
Well, my question was, and I think I asked, me and Mr. Carey talked about it, is that when we came up with that, when they drawn it up, it wasn't nothing there. It was.
Oh, there's plenty out
No,
there.
I understand that now,
Yeah,
but
but
when we
not in the
first,
beginning.
when they first did this, he stood up there and Richmond was there, and it says nothing was in those districts
I
at
totally
all.
agree with you. And when I asked about it, they said, no, what we meant was there's no voter,
No people.
there's no voters' primary residence. So, case in point, your business on Texas Street,
No people.
that's not your voting, no one votes from that address, so
So
that's
it-
what they were saying, there
So
was
it's left to a
no.
council decision because there were no voters involved.
Right. Right.
A lot of these are service type businesses, home-based businesses,
Right.
that I wouldn't assess anyway, but I have to be able to tell them that if they receive items into their home on that address, it has to be that tax rate, because it's delivered to their home. Now, if they're a plumber, a contractor of some sort, they've already paid the tax. They can't charge you tax. That's not the sales tax I'm looking for. I'm concerned about the use tax. The amount that they have to pay to take receivership of products. You have online businesses, you have, most of them are service businesses, lawn care, hair stylists, whatever. That's half of this list. But there's quite a few down here that do sell their wares. And I need to know how to assess them. So if I could, yes,
What
sir.
about the folks that sit up on the side of the road selling watermelons and corn and potatoes? Is that
That's
gonna-
not in your EDDs. They're not in your economic development district. I'm only here to talk about.
Where are
the-
you talking about? Even if they set up anywhere in any of these districts, they can just sell and no tax?
The statute says that if they've raised it, they can sell it 100 feet outside their gate of their farm. Otherwise, I get an itinerant vendor's license.
Well, we used Mr. Allen as an example a few minutes ago. Somebody pulls up in front of him and sets up a food trailer. Are they collecting tax and paying tax?
If
Or
he
if
gi-
somebody
if
wants to
he's
sell
given-
watermelons there?
If he's given them permission to park there, and they've come to me to get an itinerant vendor's license, yes, they can sit there and sell it all day.
So they gotta have a license to
Yes, sir.
sell anything other than on their own property or 100 feet outside?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've got one quick question. The hotel motel, would that apply to these RV parks in the EDDs?
Yes,
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure. Okay,
and that's the kind of answers I need.
all right,
you
okay.
know.
That's the kind you need.
And,
Alan, you promised her Tuesday, if we have to amend this ordinance, or these four ordinances,
She'll have that information on Tuesday.
if we have to amend these four ordinances, does that have to wait a month?
You first have to
2 months.
introduce, because you have to introduce it Monday. If you put it on the agenda
28 days.
for
28.
28
Monday,
days.
you're gonna introduce it. And then you wait your 20 to 30 days, and then you have a meeting, public hearing for it. So really 2 months.
It's 2 months out, yeah, sometime.
I'll find out what I gotta do to make you happy in one way or the other and whatever they gotta do. And
I defer to you guys.
She
That's
just needs an
what I
answer.
do,
I
but,
don't know what I need to do, but I will find out.
Question in the back?
Question, it was mentioned that the parcels would be excluded, so would that mean that, so, and just a question for information, so if I have a business now and you exclude my parcel, and then I close my business down and Malona comes and opens up my business, if you exclude my parcel, Malona will never have to pay either, right?
no.
No, she didn't come and
Because
open
now
up.
she's a new
If
business.
you,
She's new business.
So could it be,
The
so
new
is
business?
that, would that be the intent, or that if I close, I'm excluded, and then if I close and Malona opens up, she's a new business and she has to pay?
exactly.
That's why I was asking, if we exclude by parcel, then does that exclude when I sell it,
It's
it's
by
still the same
business.
parcel number?
It's,
By business.
Okay, I was just asking,
So
because
you can have a
somebody said by
hairstyle.
parcel.
You can have a hairstylist, she may have a dog grooming.
Correct.
It's still a new business.
Yeah.
But we're only talking about excluding current businesses today, not future businesses.
But if Kathy closed her business down and started a year later, that'd be a new business.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
anytime it's.
What about the Airbnbs and Verbos and stuff like that, that's the businesses?
They would still have to collect the sales tax, the increase of the sales tax, and the hotel motel additional.
Now, Airbnb automatically requires them to add the tourism tax, right? But the other, okay.
Y'all would get that 2%, not the tourist commission. That's the difference. That's what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ordinance is written up.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And this additional, is it a sales tax?
Yes, sir.
Would the school board and the sheriff take their cut?
No, sir.
No, that would, all of it come,
That's correct.
okay.
We either get 1% or 2%.
And it is,
The industry.
so when we get it from the tax commission, EDD one's gotta be separate from EDD two, it's gotta be separate from EDD three and EDD four.
And I have those.
So I'm gonna have to
reports.
open up
I have those reports.
for additional bank accounts for those separate entities.
So you have a plan for
Yes.
getting the money in. And do we need more definition on what it can be spent for?
Well, what we're gonna have to do is there's a board, it's the Industrial Board of Natchitoches Parish, I think is the the title of the board. Right now, it was an old board that Richmond brought out of the grave, and it's set up right now for 7 members. Richmond had placed 2, Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Allen. And so I'm not sure Mr. Hom can stay on that board now that he's a council member. So we're gonna have to seat 6 more, or we're gonna have to work with probably Basada and seat enough to where we'll have a quorum, and then reduce the bylaws down to have maybe 5 members instead of 7, whatever the board decides.
And
But it's gonna, at some point in time, this is not gonna be our baby. It's gonna be the industrial board. They will say who gets some economic development help. They will be the one that negotiates deals with people trying to come in or not.
So no matter what we vote, that's gonna have to be established?
Yes, that's gonna have to be established.
Okay.
I have one more question for y'all to consider. When this is finalized, if it takes another 2 months, the ordinance says that this tax is enacted April 1st. Do I go back 8, 9 months to get it?
You can't, it wasn't collected.
No, it was not collected.
Some of it was collected. It is collected. If they're in the parish, they're collecting in
Oh,
A.
you're right.
So they're collecting or remitting 4%. So if I have to go back and say, hey, thank you, but you're gonna have to give me that extra 1% or whatever,
I didn't think about it that
back
way.
to April to whenever, you know, this is approved.
So the,
So y'all tell me, you know, that's
so
just
if
one more thing.
so the verbiage is gonna have to state, if,
And the only way I can get away with that
yeah,
is because the notices have been in the paper. The notices have been on the journal. The notices have been on the radio. So everybody in the parish knew of this tax increase. They may not know it applied to them, because they don't know what EDD district they're in. But I have to know that too. Is it retroactive back to April 1st whenever it's finalized in December or January of next year?
May I, when I was over as a councilman, I never did get a real picture of the actual district. So you do have the actual districts now that I can look at,
The
EDD
maps,
districts.
maps.
the maps? Yes, sir.
Finally.
And
It took
they
a while.
changed them, how many times? 4 or 5 times, did they just come up with different zones?
The district boundaries didn't change.
So,
It was the
yeah.
mapping that they finally got to drill down into addresses and what have you.
So we're talking about if I go in one of those stores and this goes into effect, I'm gonna pay 3 more cents for local bread, or 3 more %, and 2 more. So it was, one time it was up to 3, I thought, but one of it will be for us and one will be for the business owner.
The business owner doesn't get to keep his tax. That gets to you.
That was for a new business that would come in, that they would get to use the part of the tax.
It could be used for incentives for a new business, yes.
But the old business, I'm still gonna pay 2% more.
The old business doesn't get anything.
What do
No,
y'all think about that?
The sales tax that's collected is put into your little, you know, savings account, piggy bank or whatever, for the new businesses that want to come in and develop. That's why it's called Economic Development District. It's not gonna go to any of the existing ones, it's new ones that wanna break ground, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I thought it
And
was about.
it says collected goes to the district that it's in to.
Yeah,
It goes to whatever
Yeah.
district that's set in, goes to those
That's
roads.
correct.
It don't go nowhere else but
It's
to
like-
the roads.
Comer One Stop is sitting out there in 4. He's brand new. He, I don't think I've gotten any sales tax yet. But the 2% extra that he's submitting, or 1%, it's gonna go into your little pot. And if somebody wants to build out there with him, that could be an incentive. Maybe you wanna build him a parking lot. Maybe you wanna build him a sidewalk or put up street lights. That money, however y'all decide to spend it, is gonna go to the new guy that comes in and wants to build a business. It's not gonna ever go back to Comer Woodstocks.
And that will be
Vice
decided by
Governor
that
won't
board.
get anything out of it, period, we won't get anything.
As a jury, yeah,
Right, so-
you're gonna get your sales taxes, how you spend it, that's up to y'all.
We're gonna get 1%.
Yes, sir. The extra,
what
well, you're
we-
gonna get the, can I explain that? The extra 1% is like special set aside money. Your original 1% is going to your landfill. That's never gonna change.
This one comes in, goes to the road.
Well, that's what I'm trying to ask you, are we gonna get an additional penny for the landfill?
No,
No.
This goes into a special kitty for y'all to use for that particular EDD.
we'll still get what we would get if the EDD wasn't there.
We don't know what we could use it for yet.
The EDD money, we have to use for
EDD.
EDDs. It will not come into it, like, I think you stepped out. I have to set up 4 different bank accounts. Those will be, there will be an industrial board that will be over those. Just like a fire district, or just like, you know, different boards in the parish
Yeah.
that are set up by the parish, but they're separate entities.
But they would look at how you would spend it, what you could identify as economic development and ways you could help. And
Julie, and looking at that, please go back and look, because John Richmond made some kind of a deal with NIDA, the Natchitoches area,
Yeah.
about them managing that. Now, they really, no, they should be good with this, because they told me they don't wanna do it.
Okay, I will definitely talk to Mr. Rosado about that, because that is the first I've heard of it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so the only thing I need here from y'all is minutes of a letter, resolution, amended resolutions, and/or to give me permission to go
I got you.
after these guys, and/or when you want me to start
that's right.
Collecting.
collecting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very
You
much.
need me for anything
No, ma'am, thank you.
else? Okay, I'm down. And search,
So we're gonna need who's sorry.
searching.
You gonna talk to, him?
You want him at the meeting?
You gonna talk to who?
I gotta find out about this NIDA thing, because like I said, that is the first I've heard about NIDA managing anything to do with the EDD.
Yeah.
Um,
I was surprised about it too.
and I wanna know if Masada knows about this. Because I don't know. I mean, did you know about it?
No,
Mr.
but the decision I'm hearing is, what do we start doing? Do we start taxing everybody? Or do we just tax the new businesses? Now, as some of us have discussed, the original intent was to add that tax to brand new businesses and exclude those that are out there already. When the original mapping, that was what we said we were going to do, okay? Now they've gone and changed the mapping, doesn't mean that should change, in my mind. The intent that we had to start taxing the new businesses. It was not to tax the existing businesses, any new business that came in. That's the way I understood it from when Richmond brought it up.
But now.
But the ordinance doesn't say
We
that.
got
yeah,
to,
yeah.
but we have to amend the ordinance
And that's why
now.
we have to do
That's what he's
Say we didn't
saying.
have to amend the ordinance, I'm just saying, don't we have to decide
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we're going to, we need to decide if we're going to.
But let me mention this, there's nothing in writing about NIDA
That I've
and the
seen,
governance board.
that I've seen.
And since there's nothing in writing, it's worth the paper it's written on, okay? We don't have an agreement, so I think we should at least coordinate with them and find out what was the original intent by Richmond, and then move from there.
I mean, to me, if what I would plan to do from this moment after I leave here was call Basad and say, do you know anything about NIDA managing or NIDA being involved at all in these EDDs? And if he says yes, then
We need.
I need to see that document, but what I'm, shut up, Julie. What I'm
But
afraid
nobody
of is,
signed nothing.
it was a blanket, give the president the author to do this, and he changed it. I'm not saying he would, I'm just saying, I've never even heard a discussion to bring NETA into a EDD.
And I never did let the council sign anything but those 4
Those 4 ordinances.
ordinances, and it had nothing to do, NETA was nowhere
So I guess
in
my
there.
point is, if there is a signed agreement between Richmond and
That's what
NETA,
you had to find out.
my opinion is probably not valid, but that's another fight for another day.
Mr. Carey made the statement, what's in writing? Okay? This could be a rumor, all right? So, we go back, we go back and,
We need to find out
I'm saying you spread rumors.
what's in writing.
I said it could be a rumor. They could have said something out of context. We're going back and say, what do we have in writing? Because we have to deal with what we have in writing right now to make the decision we have to, okay? If there was a side agreement, it should be in writing. If it's not in writing, then it has no validity. That's all we're saying.
Okay.
But either way, those ordinances got to be amended.
Yeah,
Say it
yeah,
did.
that's
Sure.
granted, but
No, I'm just saying.
And the other question is, if the council decides that they're going to tax those businesses, Laura needs to know as of what date.
Yeah, but-
So the other question I feel like I need to ask Posada is, okay, if we decide we're gonna tax them, but she hasn't been collecting this tax, it hasn't been done, and the council decides we're not going back in the past to try to do it, we're going from this point forward, do we have to do another resolution? Do we have to do an ordinance? Do we have to do any kind of paperwork other than the minutes that says, we're telling you not to go back
Well,
in
this-
time?
this would be an ordinance. It'd be an amendment to an original ordinance.
I thought she said that if you wanted to collect the tax, she started out by saying all she needed was a letter or a
That's
memo.
what she needs.
That's what she needs. So if you want to collect, even though she hasn't collected the tax, what she said was a memo that says, start collecting the tax on this day and give it to me.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't wanna collect the tax, we have to amend the ordinance to change the ordinance to say, don't collect starting on whoever, whenever, whatever. But if you want to collect the tax, just that she hasn't been collecting it and she needs something that she can pass on to the people that says it's supposed to be collected and it starts on this day.
Yeah, two actions, probably, there's both ordinance and a letter. You can solve the problem. yeah.
I agree, but I had and I wish Laura was here, he was a Louisiana something tax commission people, he's the head of something, and he's like, you don't get the option of not collecting it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, you don't get the option of not collecting it because it says you're gonna start collecting it. That is the reason why, and that came from him, and I have to go back in my notes to see what, so that's my whole point. I agree, what she says is she just needs a letter, what I'm saying is I wanna make sure the parish is covered.
So you're saying an amendment is required, but otherwise you're gonna have to collect it like he says. You
Right.
have to amend the ordinance.
Right, and you probably gonna have to amend the date too.
Yes.
So whether you, I think we're gonna have to have an ordinance, whichever way we go.
Okay.
Unless you just say, here Laura, we decided you go back into April and you start collecting it and we're done.
And then, instructional memo letter to
Yeah.
Ms. Chipko.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a lot of fun, but
it's not.
it's gonna be a big mess. Y'all think it's worth it? Council, y'all think it's even worth the effort? NETA's just an organization. I don't think they have any foundation yet, do they? I can't see how they would be taking care of tax money.
I don't think they can legally.
I personally just think we need to find out what's the discussion that's occurred in the past, and because NETA may have some role in it, but we just need a separate governance board in the future that's gonna have to deal
Well,
with
that's
that.
why I voted against it every time it come up, because nobody ever
Yeah.
made it clear as to what was really going on, you know?
You're the only one.
how we spend the money, who regulates how we spend the money is a different animal than us deciding whether or not we're going to stay with the original intent, and that is not to tax anything but new businesses coming in.
Right, you are correct.
The
Those are two-
existing
two separate
businesses
things.
are exempt for good work. That's the issue right now. Now, once we get the money, once she gets the account numbers set up, and we see some real dollars in there, then we got to think about who's going to spend it and how they're going to do it. We got plenty of time to do that.
You gotta talk
'Cause
about
right now we have
governance.
zero.
That's right. So, but I'm curious, is
That's
there a
not ours.
document that exists about the governance board? Because you,
So that was my understanding of what I was told by Richmond and Basada. And I'm sure Cheryl was in these conversations because Jennifer was trying to redo this board. The board is what allows us to do the EDD. I don't think the parish can manage those EDDs. I think the way the law is set up, that there has to be this board that oversees it. So once this is done, my opinion, of what I understand, which could be wrong, is we're out of the loop. We're out of the loop. Now the industrial board decides what negotiations happen, not us. Not the parish. The parish is done, other than we hold the money, just like a fire district board. When they buy something, it's titled to the parish of Natchitoches, not to Fire District 7 or whatever. It's titled to the parish of Natchitoches. So by governance, we own that asset just like we would own that money, but we do not control it. Same thing with the library board. By governance, that is parish of Natchitoches money. By the way it is set up and it's handled, the library board actually has control of that money. We don't.
understand.
So we'll vote on that Monday. We'll vote on C Monday. Let's go back to the beginning. Anything from Public Works?
Yeah, let me introduce my new public works man here. Joey Kramer, he's assistant to the president now as an interim, he's not interim, he is assistant director.
Hi, my name is Joey Kramer. Just to give y'all a little background, I got over 30 years of experience. I'm a third generation of contractors in bridges and dirt. My family, they started just a lot of bridges across the parish, wooden bridges and precast bridges. Done a lot of repairs. And then I went on from there and went to work for Charles Cloud. I run his outfit in the oil field division, not the mills. I didn't have much to do with the mills, but I run that, and we had a lot of men. We run around the clock. We run a tight budget. If y'all knew Charles, he lived on a tight budget. But I did that and run up to, at one time I was running 70 men around the clock. But I'm just here to work with y'all. My phone's always on. And I like to get to know every one of y'all and just try to get things going in the right direction. Are there any questions?
I've shown him your district and yours, and he knows that y'all have got the biggest two districts. I've showed him Bobby's, and he also carries a CDL, he's equipment operator, he can run it all, his daddy and his grandpa and his uncle and him did our bridges back years ago until Grandpa died away, and they just kinda moved out into their own stuff.
Yeah, when he passed on, we kind of divided up, how families do. Then my dad went one way, and my uncle. They stayed together for a little while, but then things, one health come into play. So anyway, it just kind of, it was time to get out, couldn't get help and stuff like that. But then when Charles passed on, I bought him out and run my own business.
Do you live in the parish?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Camping, on the Cooley Loop. Yes.
While he's up there too, we're looking for additional sources of rock, dirt. I talked with 4 of the major timber companies today about getting in on their property to get our natural resources. We're going over to Montgomery to look at the rock. What are we paying for the rock now? 46?
43.
And we're paying for mostly water. The rock is wet, we can't even tailgate it anymore, we haven't have a piece of equipment there to spread it with, so we're looking for additional sources. Things, we got 27th day of this month, they're gonna come and school us on our zipper machine. And we're gonna have that started on the 28th. And then talked with Sabine yesterday. They got a zipper they've been using for 2 years. They're real happy with the performance of it. And they're also doing their own asphalt work. They got their own lay-down machine. And
Can I ask
planning
you,
on going up and visiting with them.
do you have a list, of a kind of a priority work list that you're gonna tend to work up with that zipper? You have one already?
Yeah.
'Cause I gave you a couple.
He and I together is gonna make this list from now on, and it'll be up, and we gotta take some of our other roads off. Along with having our new roller, we're gonna be able to buy some hot mix and do some of our skin patches that we hadn't had the opportunity to do before without borrowing equipment, and that's gonna go a long way in Vienna especially. Just a lot of good things. We got new people coming in. Instead of having one bush hog, we're gonna have 3 bush hogs running parish wide on our roads. I am going to probably have to come to y'all after a while to get a limb cutter. Our limb cutter, we worked on it, and every time we take it out, hours about all we get out of it, and it's down again. So that'll be the next thing we're gonna have to try to come up with. Things are looking up real good, and signed a contract for American and Independence a while ago. They're getting a notice to proceed on that. Haven't heard it. I'm just gonna go ahead and include mine, Cheryl, and get that over with, because we got to go look at some roads. So, Nick Durrett contacted me last week. He found another culvert on Hart Road that's caving in, so I guess he missed another. And he wants us to take care of it. He said he can't get the contractor to come back out there and finish up what they done. Harmony Road is still falling all to pieces, and I still haven't got a report. I don't know what's going on with it. I've called him and he won't say anything to me, so I don't know, but we should be getting American Way and Independence underway. I'll get that one out. We're meeting with an engineer on Patrick Road at 9 o'clock Friday. Right?
Yes, sir.
And get something started on it.
Yeah, they were out there today. I spoke with one of their representatives out there today.
Yeah, what happened in there, Mr. Chairman, they found some, what we call fatty clay that will expand and contract with heat and cold and water. So what they did, they got on either side of it and did some additional soil borings to make sure that it was just an isolated spot. Because in clay you have to use lime, and lime is more expensive than really digging it up and refacing it. But anyway, that's what's been the holdup. And he's also coming to, he did all soil boring on Riverview, and we've got all that back. Monroe Drive, Marty, that's in your district, I believe. We're fixing to do something out there and get that half mile. Everything, I think by November this year, you're gonna see a lot of things done that we've been trying to push forward for the last 7 months. And I will get with each one of y'all in these big districts where I don't think there's anything in your district needs grinding in. Bob.
No, they don't want that grind what we got.
Yeah. Yeah, I did talk to a lady yesterday that lives on Marcelli.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get her some help out there because of the big bad hole that's there again, and her husband's he's on hospice or
Yeah.
something.
What's there?
So anyway.
Marcella Road.
Hmm?
No, I was talking to T-Wood.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I got that call too, that woman.
I don't know if I missed anything I need to tell y'all. Y'all got any questions?
One question for him. You said you have a CDL license, right?
Yes, sir.
Any
Class A.
certifications, like hazmat?
No, sir, I do not have hazmat or tanker, but I have, Class A. I can haul anything but hazmat or tanker.
Oh, yeah, I did talk to Fire District, 5 again yesterday about the water truck they're gonna donate, and he said he had been busy with taxes and stuff with the fire district, but by the end of the week, I'm supposed to have a word on that, so we'll have everything we need to go with a different. If he donates that truck to us, we'll probably have to go put a starter on it or some batteries on it or something. But
Is it a tanker pump or is it an engine or what
it's
is it?
just a gravity flow, what they call, water buffalo, just a big tank. And the people that's coming to demonstrate said we need at least 1,000 gallons. And I think that's either a 12 or 1,500 gallon, and we'll get it for nothing, so we'll be glad to take that.
Mr. Salter, in our, I think it was our last meeting, there was a gentleman come talk to us afterwards about dust on his road.
Yeah.
Popcorn man,
The what?
popcorn man.
Oh, yeah, dust.
And I was wondering, was any ideas about what to do about it?
I don't know unless we can come up with some way to get some asphalt on it, but we got notified early this week that somebody went out there and put 5 speed bumps in that road, and I don't know if it was him or who it was, so I had to get the sheriff out there, and we had to go out there and knock them down, big old bumps.
Just gets
Dirt bump, just dirt?
Yeah, they just shoved it up with a tractor.
Yeah.
And I saw a backhoe sitting in one of them yards, so I assumed that's what they did it. But I just went out and, I think maybe Robert went with me, Robert Foster, but we went and looked at it, took pictures and sent it to the sheriff, and Robert and Cody went back out there and knocked them down right before quitting time that afternoon.
Yeah.
Anything else for Mr. Kramer?
I did tell you too that Highway 9's fixing to be ground, and I got an agreement if I need it to put the material at that boy's house.
Jackie Colston, he called me.
Okay,
He's got 6 acres.
and they told us that they were not gonna put it on their road, but I think it'd be left up to the contractor, and that way we won't have to stockpile it, we just go straight to the road.
Yeah, he emailed me about it. He asked me what, in detail, what this consisted of. So I think
What's the status on rock right now?
We got some rock out there, Mark, but we just paying for water. I mean, it's so wet, it just comes out in gobs. We have to spread it. If I could take a load.
Where's the rock located?
The one at the port,
SB2.
the port,
Wet rock.
wet.
Was it SP2?
SB2.
As hot as it's been, they got wet rock out there.
We getting it off the bottom.
We rock out
On the SB2, it's got a lot of fines in it, and that fine, once it gets wet and can't get air to it, it'll stay wet for a long period of time. You know, just like, I don't know, 610 road used to be the same. And then like number 57 rock would be different, because it's more of a pure rock. It don't have the fines in it, but it won't pack. You know, pure rock will never pack. You have to have fines to get it to pack. So, you know, we got a lot of rain that week. And like I said, it'll stay wet for a long time in a pile. But once you lay it down, it'll dry out quick. You just can't get air.
We just rocked the road right off of Kempty cutoff today. I didn't see that rock being that wet.
Now, it depends where they got it at on the pile. You know, if it's coming off the bottom, it's wet. If it's coming off the top, it just depends where the loader operator's getting it. You know, and you can't go out there and say, hey, you know, if they got trucks steadily running, you can't go out there and tell Daniel, you say, hey, don't load me off the bottom, because he'll come and glue on you.
What rock you talking about, Marty?
That road right off of Kempty Cutoff. It's got cyclo bends off to the left.
Oh, you talking about Waddle? Yeah, well, when did you see, you saw it today, we put it down?
I was behind the truck when he was pulling in the road.
And it wasn't gray, it was tailgating real pretty. I think you crappy, buddy, I think you lying, I don't believe you did that. I don't think you did, I think you telling a lie. Cause I had a grader sitting there to spread it, cause he couldn't tailgate it. I didn't want it piled up where the cars couldn't get over it.
That truck when I was looking at that truck.
Well.
It don't matter, pictures
It
don't
don't
lie.
matter, it's down and people happy, and I've been
That's
waiting
right.
7 months to get it in there,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, let's go move along.
And I'll be excused, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Your phone
Try to
number?
get something done for the parish.
What's your phone number?
My phone number, I got a new phone
Oh.
yesterday.
318-332-3643.
Yeah.
That's a parish phone number.
He's
But I
gonna
mean,
meet
if
with
you have-
Danny tomorrow,
If you have any questions,
Mark.
call me, I'll be
Mark.
more.
And your title is what?
afternoon tomorrow.
Assistant
Danny Mark.
director.
He
Assistant, who's the director that you're assistant?
Mr. Salter right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm still making the work schedule, Mr. Chairman. I can
So-
save, I can save $100,000 a year.
So he will continue to perform his acting?
Well, he's not acting, he is assistant.
I'm sorry.
I have a director and an assistant
Assistant.
position. And I asked for application for both, but I didn't get for one, and I didn't really get one for what I needed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss
Who are you
Sharon.
here to say?
Miss-
You want to wait and hear?
What is it about?
Is he come?
Okay, let's go to
Sorry.
other agenda items. A, council to consider approving a funding amount for Rapides Area Planning Commission for the
Oh, yeah.
local match for the FTA Section 5311 Grant Rural Public Transit Cooperative. 12A, and that's Mr. Carey.
Yes, so if you recall, the last time they decided not to put any money towards the LA Transit program, since because there was no second, if I recall, on the motion.
Correct.
Subsequent to that, the city of Natchitoches put $40,000 towards the contract, okay? And Mr. Johns came back and talked to us and gave us some more information in addition to what was briefed last time, and that is that we would not necessarily have to give the full amount to get some good benefit. And since that time, there's even more information now, and I'll let Matt Johns talk about it, that he got an additional grant from the state because Natchitoches, the city of Natchitoches threw in. So we have even a better look that if we contribute to this program, we'd get a better product. So go ahead, Matt.
Yes, sir, appreciate it.
Excuse me, please, wait a minute. I thought this was something to do with planning and zoning.
That's the first half. The second half is gonna be planning and
You
zoning.
do planning and zoning as well as
The building code
transportation?
enforcement.
Yes.
Sir. Our office
That's
does.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Rapides Area Planning Commission houses the Alexandria Pineville Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is 100%
Okay,
dedicated
okay,
to
yeah, go
transportation,
ahead.
so it's a separate deal. But it is still under our office. You guys saw the numbers and stuff last month. I think that the new information that Mark wanted me to present was that we were told after we found out that the city of Natchitoches was putting up some of the matching funds and that you guys were considering it. They said, all right, you got somebody that's gonna do it. Here's some extra CARES funding that we didn't tell you about. And the idea, I think, is that they didn't want us to know about it until we knew that somebody was gonna partner, that we would have local match. Otherwise, the program's gonna go away.
So the state dumped in some more money in the CARES program.
They have, from the CARES program.
From the CARES
funding, which is 100% funding, meaning that you don't need match for that. That money was gonna carry us, will cover all of July and August. What I'm working through there is that they're still trying to tie it to an old contract that makes us spend that money in Natchitoches and Grant, I'm doing my best to ring free of that, to not spend the money in Grant Parish because we know that program's going away, and try to maximize the amount of that $107,000 that we can spend in Natchitoches. And that would be both the city and the parish. Again, that's something for us to work on. But because of that, what we were looking for from you guys to have the whole program operate at the same pace that it did last year was $40,500, which is what the city of Natchitoches put up as well. And that was just to split it down the middle of the $81,000 local match required to match the other 50% of federal funds. Since then, with that 107 coming in, if we can push it all towards Natchitoches, that would reduce the amount needed to about $33,000. I don't know that I can do that, but that's what I'm pushing for. Secondly, we're also trying to be more efficient in getting some better vans up here, smaller vans that can respond a little more quickly, be more fuel efficient, get a driver and a van located in Natchitoches Parish so we don't have deadhead miles running from Grant or Rapides up here. And then fourthly, trying to make sure that we get our get some Medicaid funds flowing into this program as well. So all of that's in the works. We're pushing it as hard as we can. I think for, if we can move the 107,000 into Natchitoches only, that would reduce the burden just to maintain to you guys to about 33,000 and some change. But if we can increase these other efficiencies, by the end of the year, I may be able to offer you the same product that you got this year, same amount of service over the past year, for less than that even. Is that tracking, Wayne? I see the look. Sorry, and I'm not trying to go fast. Like I'll explain as different ways as I can. We know as it stands right now, 40,500 gets you the same amount of trips as you got last year, which is about 1,100. And to be fair, so that we're all on the same page and 100% transparent, the state makes us count a trip as one direction. So that round trip is more like 560 or so for over the course of the year from 2023. I think that was May 23 to May of 24, about 1,100 trips. So I think I'm going to get you close to the same amount of service for less of a dollar amount needed from you guys. The way City of Natchitoches did it was they said we'll fund it up to $40,500. Once we finish all of the 100% CARES funding, we will start invoicing them each month for their half, which means we won't get to $40,500 because we got some additional funding. And as we're more efficient, that number, whatever it may be, is going to go down over the course of the year. So I don't know what it'll be because I don't know what efficiency will actually get implemented, but that's our goal is to make it.
But because of the CARES and the other things you talked about, you're going to add on a small investment now is you have an
could still get you the same amount of
exponential return as opposed to the full amount that we were looking at last time.
Correct.
So we're looking at a different situation than we were when we were first talking about 40,000 going in there with a finite number of trips and all that.
33,000 is still not a
Well, but it's not required at 33. We can invest at any level that we want. That's the thing. If we, you, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but we get a commensurate investment plus the ability to secure some of the CARES money also, right?
Yes, sir, and any additional efficiencies that we get. So if you approve a maximum amount, whatever that dollar figure is, 33 or whatever, I won't throw another number out for you, whatever you choose. Our goal is to use that and maximize what you get for it. And I would love to, by the end of the year, to come back in here, or close to the end of the year, the fiscal year, tell you guys, hey, we didn't have to use all of the amount of money that you sent to us, and we still provided this number of trips. Here's what we're looking at for next year with or without any additional CARES funding and things like that. So it's all, whatever you decide to put in, I'm gonna get the absolute most that we can out of it as far as number of trips for your people, in any way that we can.
How far you go and how many people can you hold? I mean, is everything you gotta go south towards Ellick, or you go to Shreveport, Monroe?
As of right now, most of the trips are staying in Natchitoches. We do have some coming down to Alexandria. Some of the medical trips are split between Natchitoches and Alexandria. I don't have that breakdown right now, but I can get it. But no, right now we don't go towards Shreveport, but City of Natchitoches is interested in that as well. And because you guys are actually ponying up local match funds, I'm assuming with the city, we want to try to make sure that that's a possibility for us as well.
Well, we do have a company coming out of Shreveport already, don't we? Because I know I stopped and changed the flaps with one of the girls with a van a while back.
Maybe a private.
Oh, is it private?
Maybe so.
Okay.
There's not another public entity provided that we're aware of. And there's not much for rural transit because it's hard to make it work. I told them last month, we were scared to get into it. I personally was scared to get into it because if you run the program perfectly with no hiccups, you break even. which means you've only got potential for loss, which is really scary for us because we're quasi-governmental and we run on a shoestring budget as well. So I have every incentive to try to make this thing work as efficiently as possible.
If I called you and told you I need a trip, do you call the doctor or the hospital to make sure that I have an appointment?
No,
Or
sir.
just not need to ride in Natchitoches?
No, sir. We base it on what they tell us.
Back in the day when the ambulance would get called from different spots, they'd get out of the hospital and they would go to the store, you know, and well, I'm serious.
Well, I
He's
think
not wrong.
just wanting a ride to Natchitoches is something they provide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Whether it be a doctor or what, just a.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't matter what it's
Grocery
for.
store or whatever.
they're just kinda like a Uber. You know, you tell them you want it, they come, they go.
Yeah.
Here's a breakdown of the trips over the last year for medical and otherwise, just to show you.
Education and all that, okay,
Yes, sir.
great.
And it sounds awful, but we did have a guy book a trip to go fishing. He paid his fare and he got to go. If they don't have access to a vehicle, this is meant to serve those folks as well.
What do you think, Bobby?
Pretty good.
We could just leave our vehicle at home.
Bring all your fishing gear and put it on that van and take off.
So we mentioned some of the stuff last time too. We do ask for 24-hour notice to try to schedule the routing as best we can. The fare is something that we'll discuss with you guys moving forward as well. See if Natchitoches wanted to see it come down some, but they didn't want to see it go away altogether. It doesn't really make that much of a difference for us. What we do with those funds is bank them so that whenever we have to buy a new van, we use those funds to try to help us. Because on those we have an 80-20 split rather than a 50-50 with the feds on the operations. So we try to make $1 get $5 worth of buying power.
All right. Any more questions on that part?
On this, just to be clear,
Yes, sir.
when you want a ride, you call some number, give them your credit card, you
Yes,
gotta
sir.
pay for it up front,
Yes, sir.
and they tell you when they'll come pick you up.
Right, well, you tell them the day that you're wanting the ride. Like, you don't have to schedule it for tomorrow, you can schedule it for a few months out. We have folks that do that, they'll pay for several months at a time to make sure that they're guaranteed a spot.
Okay.
Because we do have limited availability.
Oh, that's good. And the hour that they pick them up, I mean, I could tell you, you pick me up at 7:15
I
and,
think that we do have limits on those hours. I think it starts at 7 in the morning, it's supposed to go till 5, but there are times where they run late trying to get people, make sure they get them back home. There are things that are gonna fall outside of our control all the time. If their appointment goes long, and we have to do rerouting on the fly, it's really tough to keep everybody happy, but we do our best with our resources.
but you're better than the television people who will tell me somewhere between
Yeah, we'll be there with 10 hours.
No, definitely not that. It's easy to beat Best Buy and those guys with their customer service.
Okay.
All right. Any more from Mr. Johns on that one? Okay, so since you can be seated, so we'll go ahead and discuss the IBTS since both of them is here for that too. Council to discuss extending IBTS on a month-to-month basis until a determination of the financial review. And I'll put this after the discussion if needed to vote on the building official and permitting, because every time we usually put something on the agenda for discussion, and then you decide you want to vote, and we have to go ahead and amend the agenda, so I'll put it both on there, so it'll be already there. So, number F, under page 3. And, Mr. Salter, you had said that you wanted to discontinue this, and go somewhere, month to month or something?
No, I talked to Mr. Carey about it, I just told him I want some numbers to look at, and see what the difference was gonna be. Yeah, I would love to do it in-house, but I don't know at this time that we're gonna be able to. Just like we talked about with our garbage business, we may not be able to that quick. But I'd like to compare numbers with,
Okay.
or the charges. Well, not only that, I guess, response time and so forth, and, see if one's better than the other one, and let y'all do some bidding or whatever. I pretty well know Larry, you know, and I don't know what this guy here's got to offer, is any better or different or worse or whatever.
All right. But this contract extended month to month, I assume it's.
I think
Well,
we
here go
can.
Julie,
That's what
I'm sorry.
for the IBTS, the month-to-month.
that's what's on the agenda, so if I could speak to that, our contract that we have with the parish expires the end of this month. So you technically will be without building official, you know, at the end of the month. So, if you'll need more time to do that, we can get our contract administrator to draw up a amendment to your contract that would, it ends it on that, but would be a renewal by the month, if that's the way you want it. In our contract, we do ask for a 90-day notice to let us know what you intend to do, which gives us time to, there's a lot of work in contract closure. So I gotta close out a contract, I gotta redo my fiscal year budget, I gotta reconsider my employees, you know, it takes a good bit of planning work.
How much notice did you need, you said?
90 days
90
is what's in the
90
contract.
90,
But-
okay.
But we didn't get a 90-day notice about anything, so we're here at the end of it. I came and talked to y'all last month and came back at least 90 days before and talked to y'all about it, so you'd know about the 90 days, but we didn't get any notice from anybody, so.
Well, I'll tell you, let me say this, Larry, I just like the guy stood up there and told y'all, I come and told him I was gonna cancel it. I didn't tell him that, I told him I would like to, and my intention was, and that's the same way with you, I hadn't told anybody I was gonna.
No, we don't have any notice, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
what, yeah.
There is no notice of cancellation or renewal, but it does expire, that's the last date of the contract.
Yeah.
So we can draw up an amendment to extend it monthly if that's what's necessary. We also brought cost comparison, which I have permanent data from, I got it all on Excel spreadsheet, and I can send to Julia if she's the one that's gonna be looking at it. I don't know if she'll be the one, but we've got the actual permit data for the last 6 years. You know, so you can tell, you can go by their fee schedule and our fee schedule. It doesn't take 30 minutes to figure out which one's gonna be the best price. And I can already tell you, ours will be, but I mean, you can figure that out for yourself and look at it for yourself, it's evident. There are some things that IBTS does that you may not know about, and there's some things that we do just in our everyday operation that are beneficial things to the contract, that's something maybe, like you were saying, that extra things that we actually do that are part of our operation that you may not even know about in the contract. It's not really in a fee schedule itself, extra benefits that we provide that might be where you could weigh one or the other. The best way would be to, if you really want to know, compare apples to apples, would be to put out an RFP that would have the exact same things that we'd be bidding on, if you wanted to go to a bid, to where the exact same things in fee schedules would be bid on, like new construction, mobile homes, trade permits. It's so complicated when you look actually the two fee schedules, because theirs is one way and ours is a little bit different. So the only way you can compare is just to grab a 3,000 square foot house and compare, see what ours would be at 3,000 square foot house, see what theirs would be. You can go to a business to see what a business. Now, let me say this about business wise, like commercial permits, we've not done but just a couple over the last, all the 6 years we've been doing it. And it's really probably been just a couple of Dollar General stores. It hasn't been, so it's not really a big commercial thing out there, out in the parish. We do a lot of commercial work in the city of Natchitoches. We're doing their permits and inspections too. And they're a lot more commercial, but out in the parish, there's hardly any. So it's really, it wouldn't take a lot of time just to compare what a new Dollar General would be, or church, or something like that. That's about the only thing you get every once in a while. So just a couple of those you'd pull to see what the difference was from one fee schedule to the other. I could sit down with you and show you in 30 minutes what you'd see it really quick, what the comparative cost would be. And also, just sitting down to see about extra things that we do that, like mobile homes, if they have a failed inspection, we don't charge to go back and re-inspect. Electrical trades permits, if they have a failed inspection, we don't charge to go back. We go back at the same cost to re-inspect it to be sure it's passed. So there's a lot of things like that that we do that are just everyday operation that IBTS does to provide good customer service, to not charge people. Like I said, we're a not-for-profit company, and we operate just on a real tight budget. There's been years we lost money in Natchitoches Parish. There's been years that we gained money. But another thing beneficial about IBTS, if we make over $90,000, everything we make over that $90,000, we're gonna give you half of it back. And that's our money. We're gonna give you half of our money back to you, because we think that's, at $90,000 for revenue, that's about where our break-even place is. And we've done that in the past. We've given back, one year was $25,000 we gave back to the parish. And so that's in our contract too. Another thing, we never charge the parish anything. We never charge any fee to the parish at all. The fees are paid by the applicants to us, and the parish permit fee is also paid by the applicant through us, and it goes back to you. We have a credit card system that we set up. Almost 80% now of permits are being paid by credit cards. Well, that money, it's almost $100,000 for y'all for your permit fees every year. That money that's being paid by credit card to us, we're paying 3.5% for the credit card, and we're not charging them or you. You get 100%. So that's just benefits that we're doing that you don't really see. That's just an extra benefit. It goes through our card system. It goes through our software. We don't charge you anything for the software. We don't charge you anything for maintenance software. We don't charge you anything for IT support for software. All that is paid by us. We provide that as a service to you. So all those things that are going through, not only do we have to pay 3.5% on our money, we have 3.5% on your money too. So when you add up the 3.5% of $100,000 in credit card charges that you get 100% of yours, and we pay 3.5% on your money. So, there's a lot of benefits there that really are not seen that IBTS does provide as a service provider to you. And we're all about customer service. We want to provide good customer service to you. We want to provide good customer service to the guy that's pulling a permit. We want to make sure we're there on time. We got a guy right here. He's in Natchitoches Parish every single day, and we do inspections the next day. We answer the phone, Malone will tell you, second ring. We're going to definitely provide good service to you. And I'm available to anybody that needs to call. I field phone calls all day long for people that have questions about the permit, why it failed, what was wrong. Our inspectors, they explain what's dangerous about what's wrong with your electrical or something and what you need to do to correct it. And then we're coming back to look at it again, and we're not charging you to come back and look at it again. So those are things that we do as customer service all the time that really not in a contract. It's not in a fee schedule that are benefits that IBTS does that as your provider, and we hope that you'll be happy with. And I think for the most part, everybody has been pleased with all the services that we have provided over the last 6 years. So we're ready to renew. We're ready to renew the contract for 3 years, but You know, if you need time to see more numbers, I think we could make that happen before Monday meeting. You know,
How
I
many
think
years?
you'll see it.
6.
Ma-
6 years. Been here 6 years.
No, how many for the renewal?
Renewal. 3.
Three?
But it's a 3-year, this is the same contract you had,
Yeah.
and we just are offering to renew it another 3 years.
How much did you pay us back last year in refunds?
Last year, we barely got over, I mean, this last fiscal year, we barely got over the $90,000. I think it was 2,000 something, you know?
It was under 5, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was under 5,000, because the revenue has dropped everywhere
Yeah.
because the housing market has dropped.
Year before that, how much?
Year before that.
2022.
2020.
It was 20.
25,000.
Something like that.
The year before, it was 25,000.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, we,
Hello.
this, to extend this on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah, we'll have to do something in writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason for that would be so we could get some more proposals or something. Because I think we've had this last month and the month before, and we've done nothing, or nothing that I've seen.
And why it's on the agenda that way, because like you're saying, is that we have it with IBTS, and then we got another company too. And Julie said that we don't have the trying to see which one is financial reason or feasible for the parish. And suppose they did a comparison, but
Did you get to be able to do that or no?
She did.
You got the data right.
I've done it. It's gonna line up with what Larry's gonna tell you. If I may speak for a minute, do you guys mind? Because you may be able to make a decision tonight without having to do a true RFP. I think you might be able to. And I'm not trying to make a hard sell here. It's just a philosophical difference. Do you mind?
Yeah, right.
But
So-
I just didn't want us to, again, do this and then.
Well, that's the point. You would, yeah.
And that was my point. I hadn't seen the numbers as far as what it would do to the planning budget. So my fear I didn't know which way the council was leading. I hadn't had any conversations, hadn't seen the fee schedule from Rapides, didn't have the information. So my concern was I didn't want us to make a decision without having some kind of idea of what it would affect the financials.
So I did this last month, and I'll do the same thing here. I'm not going to do anything to badmouth Larry. I think if we offered comparable customer service, it'd be a compliment to us. I think Larry and his guys do a great job trying to take care of the people here. The only differences that we're going to have are going to be the philosophy behind the fee schedule, and I'll talk about that for a second. And then we are offering to put a permit tech in the area as well, so they've got somebody they're seeing. In the same vein, we'll have a building official in the parish every day as well. So you guys had asked me to run some numbers with true numbers based off of what you did last year. So because I was having to do every one of them manually, I did the first quarter of 2023. Just picked it because it was the first ones I was into. Got through it. Out of about 80 permits, the total fees generated were about 52,000. The parish fees were 30,000 of that. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. IBTS's fees were 22,000. Our fees over that same number of permits would have been 28,000. So we're about $6,000 more expensive. However, and this is where we're different. We are cheaper on 25 of those 80 permits. IBTS is cheaper on 15 of those 80 permits. That's because we charge a little bit less on mobile homes, and I told you guys the philosophy behind that last time. I didn't like that idea starting out, but our board pushed for it, and it's worked well where we work. The folks that really usually aren't able to afford as much are paying less, and it's not based on their income, it's based on the type of facility that they're living, or they're going to live in, whether they're building a stick-built home or they're buying a mobile home. We're cheaper on the mobile home side, more expensive on new construction, and that's where we end up being $6,000 more expensive overall for that one quarter. So over the course of the year, multiply that out, it'd be 4 times higher. But we would have 100 permits over the course of the year that would be cheaper on, where they would have about 60 that they're cheaper on, and those would be your residential new constructions typically. So it's really just a philosophy there. And then the other part is that with the amount of, that we think we would generate over the course of a year, we would put a permit tech in the building, if you guys would allow us to do that, so that whoever you have issuing permits here wouldn't have to worry about that. They can do whatever work you guys have for them, in addition to having to build an official in the parish every day. So, but again, I got nothing bad to say about them. I think Larry and his team are fantastic. And so if you like the idea of being cheaper on mobile home permits, that's the biggest change. And they may be willing to meet that fee and keep you happy too. You don't have to go all the way, to doing true RFPs. So we want to make you happy if we get the opportunity. Absolutely, we'll bust our butts and take care of your people. My goal is to make sure you don't get phone calls pitching a fit about us. I'll try to get that stuff resolved before it gets to your desk. And if it does, we'll work our butt off to fix it.
I just wanna make sure, I understand the mobile homes, but you also have a weighted, so the smaller homes have a lower fee, the larger homes have a bigger fee?
Ours, it's 48 cents.
It's kind of a weighted difference or something?
Well, it's 48 cents a square foot for us, and that's heated square footage.
Okay,
So
regardless of how large or small?
right, so if we get a 10,000 square foot home, that's great for us. It's a big payday. It
Okay.
helps us pay for all those mobile
Okay.
homes that we lost money on.
Okay, okay,
We don't have a cap.
okay.
Is that a state scale? Do they regulate how much you can charge?
No, sir. They allow you guys, as
Right.
each parish council, to set a limit on it, so you could.
Because, Provençal, I think they charging 75 cents a foot on, under roof, on a house. And they've also tried to pass orders where if you got a mobile home over 10 years old, you can't even bring it in Provençal. That don't make good sense.
That's a lot. Okay, thank you.
Larry, did I say anything that was out of turn, or?
The only
have a
thing
question?
I would add
Tom,
though,
hold on.
in their fee schedule, they do say if you have a failed inspection for electrical or manufactured homes, then they charge you another inspection fee first trip.
Okay, for clarity, we do the same thing Larry does there, where we try not to charge that. If people are they're learning, like they didn't know and they got something wrong, we don't charge that. We put it in our fee schedule so we have the right to charge it, and we do that when people start taking advantage of us. We've gone out 2 times and said, hey, we told you that this was the wrong type of wire. They didn't even try to change it, but called us out for a 3rd inspection thinking that they'll just wear us down. We reserve that right to charge the 75, but you're right, it's in the fee schedule. It does say that after the first trip we can charge it. We typically don't. Same thing, we're trying to offer good customer service because, again, I don't want you guys getting the phone.
And I've been out 6 times to a mobile home and never charged
Have a
them.
question in the back.
So, you said a permit tech, is that a full-time 40-hour-a-week permit tech?
For what we're looking to generate, I would start part-time, so that I wouldn't have to go into benefits, so probably 30, 35 hours.
And that would be included in our contract price? So we wouldn't need, because we currently have our own permit tech.
Yeah, but if you, again, I was asked if we would be willing to put that in here, like we did for Beauregard and Vernon Parish recently.
I'm just questioning, so that would be a change if we went with, okay. Okay.
And we could put a permit tech too, that's what you want. We just have to charge, we'd have to charge for it.
You give a refund like IBTS?
Ours is 10% across the board from the start, so regardless of whether or not we make a profit, you're getting 10% back.
Okay.
And so I did the math on it. Some years, last year, you got a little more back from us. The year before that, y'all have got 12,000 more back from them than you would have from us. It really is kind of a wash. Customer service, again, if we can be as good as IBTS, that'd be a compliment to us. I think we can. I'm not gonna badmouth them. It's just whether or not you wanna charge less for mobile homes. That's really what it boils down to.
Okay.
In my opinion. Larry, you probably got some other angles on that, but that's the.
Good?
I'm good. I feel much better as far as knowing the potential effects of the planning fund. So,
Thank you.
And you guys have that spreadsheet as well, and it breaks down that first quarter.
Malone? You have anything to add?
She was just asking for a fee list.
Come see you good? With what you heard?
So as far as my relationship with IBTS, they have been good with me. Every time I call, they answer. When I have a problem, a question about how to permit something or how to address an issue, they always can either not, if they don't know the answer, they can help me to find that answer. I have a really good relationship with IBTS. I haven't found any problems with anything they've done permit-wise with me working relationship as employees. But I will work with whoever, I'll try to work with whoever is there, regardless if it's IBTS or it's someone else. That's it.
Thank you.
I do have a question, if y'all don't mind. You're using right now IBTS software, right?
That's what I thought, if she is using it.
Yes, but we do get rid of IBTS, we are using their software. Natchitoches Parish does not have its own software, but we could try to get our own software if.
And I'm just asking, Mr. John, do you have a software?
Yes, ma'am. My Government Online or MGO Connect, and we pay for that. It's provided free of charge to the parish.
Oh, okay. Cassie?
So, from everything we've heard, if we have to put together or help put together a comparison of what and what, we need to get two apples and apples and oranges and oranges. So, from what I've heard, and I'll have dog in the fight, you six decide and whatever and go but so what I've heard so far is we have IBTS, we use IBTS as software, correct me if I misspeak. We use IBTS as software. We have our own employee that we pay. They work together to do our permits. We're running neck and neck until we do our own comparison and actually go through every single permit. And then last year's permits aren't this year's permits, but whatever, we would have to get there. So going with IBTS, we would have IBTS is software, and Malona. If we go with Rapides Area Planning, they would provide us a tech and their software, which brings us back to apples, except for if the costs are the same and we don't have Malona, our costs just went down. However, I just lost them. Well, if they provide the tech, we don't have Malona anymore. We would not have a need for Malona if Rapides Area Planning. I mean, I don't.
Well, you know, that's not necessarily so.
Well, we don't have a place to house two techs.
Well,
So we would have our tech and their tech, and they say that we only need part-time, and Malona's already full-time, so that would be a need that we wouldn't need. Would that make our costs go down? If we didn't need a tech?
Yeah, I was asked if we would be willing to provide a tech. I didn't realize it was gonna jeopardize your job at all.
And I'm
It was
just
that-
asking, I'm
it
just
was-
confused, because that was my question. If they asked you, would we provide a tech, I was taking into consideration that they were thinking we were gonna get rid of Malona and not use our own tech, and I'm just asking. So, would it be the intent to have a full-time tech and a part-time tech, and then where would we house the part-time tech? If we would have to provide an office space for them. And so I'm just asking questions, and then if we didn't use your tech, and that was included in the pricing that you provided today, was included with the tech? Okay, so if we didn't have a tech and we didn't have that need, could we still use your software and our girl?
For sure. But the price
So we
be
would
the same.
need to, so the price is the same whether or not we provide it, or whether or not we use your tech or ours?
right, that was just added on. That was lagniappe. That's all it was.
Just asking questions.
Those are good questions.
Make sure we're level.
How come you didn't jump on her for calling you girl like you did me?
When you called me girl, that was a different situation.
Oh, it was?
Yes, it
Okay.
was.
Okay, any more questions for, about this from the council? Are y'all okay with this for Monday night to make a decision?
Could I speak just, I mean, if you need, just let me know if you need a contract amendment for Monday night to vote. If that's what you're gonna wait and look at. So just let me know so I can get you one by Monday night to vote on. For the amendment to go by the month. You see, that's what was on the agenda. So that was kind of a surprise to me, I wasn't expecting. it to be there. But
Well, this right here is our working session.
It's not really.
It's
the
not
agenda
set
yet.
in stone. This agenda is not out there to everyone else.
that's it.
After this worker session,
So
they
it-
will let me know
So
what
it
the
could be
wording
on-
can
It
be
could be on the agenda Monday night
To confirm or
To
whatever.
to confirm,
Yes.
yes, to renew.
just let me know if you need something though, because if you wanna go by month to month, we need something in writing, signed. You know, because the end of the month's right there.
Once we finish this, I will let you know. This wording might not even be there. It might be to renew the contract. I don't know until after this.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask a question to Mr. Larry. He said his contract stated that we needed 90 days to cancel, so would we need a renewal of 90 days, or could we go
Well,
month to month?
that'd be nice.
I mean, I'm just asking, because you said 90 days to
Well,
cancel, so would
that-
we have to extend at least
Well,
90 days?
That's
or-
what it says in the contract, but I'm not holding to the
That's
contract
if
for that part. of the
we're
contract.
working with inside the contract. If the contract is up to expire, then that 90 days, it can't be a part of it because the contract is expiring.
No.
You can't extend an expiration date 90 days.
Yeah, we didn't get notice
But
about
they
it.
didn't get notice.
Well, you had to know, you knew that the contract was gonna expire, okay? You knew that was gonna
That's
expire.
right.
Now, if in your mind you felt it's gonna automatically come back to me, that's one thing. If you had in your mind that the possibility somebody else could come along and give a better presentation and we decided to try that organization, then that's another thing. But the 90 days does not apply
You're
as far
right.
as this expiration.
Yeah, just let it expire, you know, I mean, that's all you can do, so.
Yeah, it expires the end of the month, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's what, we've got to do something if we're gonna go past that.
That's why we're talking about it now, because we're gonna do something Monday.
All right.
I gotta go, y'all. I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna be running motor graders, mini X's, bush hogs, 6 days a week. So I got enough people now, that we're working our regular crew 40, and I'm gonna be taking over either, I'll do Monday, Thursday, and Joe will be Saturday and Friday, or if vice versa. But we're gonna be running, and it'll be somebody out there with the whole crew the whole time. I can't get rock on Saturday, but I can get it up to 4 o'clock on Friday. I'm back to the rock. We just hold them back, Marty. We ain't got so much, and there's no use why I can. I got a guy right now on 10 miles of road. He's hauling grain, and this truck after truck. If I go down there and rock that road right now, it wouldn't be a rock left time we get through. So we just got certain days we're gonna put it down, and all of them ain't gonna get it this year. We don't have the money.
So are you prepping for the winter?
I do what now?
Are you prepping roads for the winter
That's
time?
what we're doing now.
Ditching?
Yeah. We're ditching. We just now, in fact, we had to go up there and dig mud out of one of the wheels on the grader. We couldn't even run it down the road because we tried it too early and it was wet. Over the new grader.
Yeah, I seen some pictures of some roads graded. I think I sent you one from out in my area where it was done. Yeah. In fact, you got that picture. It was sent to you. A lady griped about who graded this road. She lived on it for 50 years.
What road was it?
I'll give it to you.
You can talk offline.
You can? Okay.
All right.
Was it Baker? L.C. Baker?
Leave it on. Yeah.
Okay, while they doing it.
I'll text it to you.
Y'all wanna vote on the minutes for the special meeting that was held July the 11th, and then you're gonna vote on the regular minutes for July the 29th. Then we have two appointments, board appointments to Fire District 7, Dennis Broadway, and Joshua Monk. We don't have any old business, we don't have any new business. Then the first introduction of proposed ordinance. And it's probably gonna be a change of wording, but the rationale to it is the council to introduce ordinance 15/2024 to amend the Home Rule Charter, Section 2-9,
section 2.9 and council employees. And that's gonna be put out on the ballot for the voters to vote on the addition that the council want. And I have it on the exhibits. Mr. Carey, you have that?
Yes. So there's 2 paragraphs. Would you like me to read it?
Yeah.
It's not very long. The council, by a majority vote, may appoint a clerk who shall serve at the council's pleasure. The clerk shall give notice of council meetings to its members and the public, keep the journal of its proceedings, be the official secretary of the council, and perform any other duties that may be assigned to the clerk by this charter or the council. Paragraph 2, the council may, by ordinance approved by a majority vote, authorize the hiring of such other employees as may be necessary to assist the council in carrying out its duties and responsibilities. Such employees shall serve at the pleasure of the council. The council shall, by ordinance approved by a majority vote, fix the salaries of its employees. That's it.
The first part is already in the charter.
Already in the charter.
The second part, they wanna add to the charter. Any discussion on that?
And this has to go out to a parish-wide vote?
This would be on the ballot.
Yes, it'll be on
December, I think.
In my understanding, it would include compensated and non-compensated people, like interns, or partially compensated, like a stipend or college amount or something. And anyway, so that's correct.
Now, my question is, you want me to add that whole section on the agenda?
Probably the paragraph for the change.
Okay.
At least that, because the other's already in the charter.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna have to state what's being said.
Okay, I'll
Have y'all
put it-
talked to Brennan about a date and a cost? Date,
We haven't
cost,
talked, he says December.
and cost?
We didn't talk about cost.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. The second one is that we got another ordinance for some adjudicated properties. Judy sent that, they sent it for adjudicated properties. And that's it. We don't have any public hearing. We have no action. We have no resolutions. We already talked about A. B, council to approve waiver of land use permitting form addresses the requirement in the following statute. LARS.S.29.726 F3 The parish government authority has submitted a certification to GOSEP that the local government authority will waive any land use regulation relative to permitting for mobile homes, recreational vehicles, and other temporary housing directly adjacent to the survivor's damaged dwelling to allow for expedited temporary housing assistance in the parish. And I gave you that stuff in your exhibits.
Yeah,
And this happened when they have like a hurricane,
Right.
tornado,
Yeah.
and stuff.
Some kind of disaster.
Disaster.
And this happens, so it gets renewed every year.
Yes,
Yeah.
it started last year,
So it was,
year before last.
yeah, we've
Last
already
year
done
was
it a
the first
couple of
year's done.
times.
Yeah, we did a couple of times.
Now, I just have one question. Of course, this falls under individual assistance, which is one of the 3 primary areas that FEMA says public assistance, individual assistance, and hazard mitigation. Is there a limit on the temporary housing, the amount of time they can stay, or is it until they get back on their feet?
I don't know, she gave a
I
thing
gave
in there.
the opt-in and opt-out, I didn't bring it with me, I don't think.
Yeah, that was strange.
Let me,
I think I read until the,
Yeah, I gave
till
you
this
everything.
expired.
I wanna say until
I think
till
it's
the
indefinite.
emergency declaration is lifted.
Which, no,
Which
well,
probably wouldn't be
well,
enough
no,
time.
it probably is closeout of the disaster.
Well, but Just
Which
because
could go
there's an
years.
individual disaster doesn't mean that
No.
there would be one for us.
Yeah, but Katrina took 10 years, 12 years to close
Don't
out.
even put that out there. Not even joke about it. Let me see if I can see real quick. What it says. It says. Come on. It says. Coordinator.
What is the time period of the waiver? It just says applies during a declared emergency,
See, I thought that's what it said.
but that's the waiver to allow.
Right, so if we had a disaster and my house was damaged, and then it's gonna say that it's gonna waive, I assume, and somebody correct me, especially you permitting guys, if I'm wrong, that if my HOA says I can't put an RV, if we sign this, then that's lifted
Mhm.
for a period of time.
Yeah.
I don't know what the period of time that would be. And
There, under 8, number 8, it says time period of the waiver is 1 year,
from,
which will be annually submitted by September 1st.
no, that's the waiver
Waiver
that we're
document.
doing document,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's not,
It's not how long it gives.
The waiver just waives them the permit to put it there, right? It doesn't say how long they can keep it there, that would be up to us. Right? They're just talking about waiving the permit to put it there, right?
I thought they were waiving land uses, so,
It's a land use.
it's
yeah.
a land usage thing.
If it's prohibits having a travel trailer to live in, then you're waiving.
We're waiving that, yes.
That they'd be allowed until they could get back in their home.
I don't know, that is a good question, and I can ask that question and send it to the council, or email it, or have it for Monday night, if, whatever y'all prefer. But I don't think all this I didn't realize how many attachments she had to this, it's a bunch of attachments.
It was.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I was like, okay, I know what this is, I'll just send it to the council, and I didn't realize it had all
Yeah,
that many
because some
documents.
disasters in the past, there's some people decide they're never gonna
Right.
build back.
And
they
what
keep
happens
that
if
FEMA
Julie says,
trailer.
I like living in my little trailer?
Well, yeah, they use it as a second home, they keep the FEMA trailer there, and until the disaster's closed out 10 years later, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I just closed out a Gustav, this year.
And there you go.
That was what, 2006?
Okay, if you
But
could
I
just
can,
find
I
it.
can try to find it and the name, of the answer to that question.
All right, you don't have it for them from Monday or before Monday?
I'll try to get it tomorrow,
Okay,
and have it to y'all by Friday,
okay.
but I'm not guaranteeing.
Okay, we already did C for the exempt business, we already went over that, so y'all already know what to do for Monday. D is the council approved the receiving a reclaimed asphalt payment from state project number H010365 LA 117 and state project from Highway 9. You got two different,
The project number for Highway 9 is H 010359.
okay. Next, I think we already went over, council discussed the lease expiration of the transfer station for the parish of Natchitoches. And if y'all have any discussion, you have to vote if y'all want to, and that's Monday night too. What y'all gonna do with that? You already discussed F. And now we with G. Council to approve and authorize the parish president to sign in CEA between the parish and State of Louisiana Office Community Development for the Restore Louisiana Homeowner Program Solution for Voluntary Acquisition and Buyout. Julie.
So this is a program that if I had a house on a little bayou out somewhere in the parish, and every time we have a federally declared emergency, my house floods, I go to FEMA to remediate it, to put it back together or whatever.
Hazard mitigation.
Yeah. The state has put together a list of properties in Natchitoches Parish that could qualify for a buyout, where they would come to me and say, look, we're gonna buy you out. It's voluntarily, it's not a forced thing, but we're gonna pay you $80,000 and you take your $80,000 and nobody's gonna live here anymore, right? Nobody's gonna have a house. It came to Richmond's email, or the info. We have a couple of, and I saw it. I almost thought it was phishing, whatever.
Yeah, fishing.
So I called the state and I said, I thought this was closed, and they said, another one of those, yes, it officially was gonna close, but we still have money left. So if you wanna opt in, you have to do it by September the 15th. Now, that would allow me, if I was one of those people, to participate. If we do not opt in, I do not have the choice of participating, right? It has to come through a local government. So my thought was, let's just opt in.
Yeah.
If it works out for somebody, great. If it doesn't, great.
There's no cost, one.
No, there's no
And
cost.
two, there's no downside to not being opt-in. There is a downside if we don't opt in.
Right, 'cause
You
somebody
cannot
could-
utilize the hazard mitigation funds to buy out frequently flooded properties, which is all they're doing. So,
So they go in and buy it completely, they own it.
Well, what's the other side of that?
Yeah.
They buy it, they want to transfer title to the parish.
I can speak to that.
Do you really want more grass to cut?
That's essentially what it would be. So it is their job to tear it down. They have to demolish it.
Yep.
And then turn it back over to you guys. And there's a restriction on it that nothing else can be developed there. You could use it for a retention pond or a park, but you can't build it.
Goat farm. Make a goat farm out of it.
yeah,
Mow
Well,
itself, right?
And Julie, they had maps of these things? Because I was thinking of individual houses,
The maps
you know.
are awful, and she said that, but she did give me some addresses. Honestly, I haven't tried to sit down and put those addresses in Google or in the tax assessors to see where they are, but I do have the addresses, and I can most certainly give them to you.
In the
Because
past
I
10 years,
was-
the parish has done that twice.
If,
Since I've been here, we've taken
Francis
over property
Street.
FEMA, but exactly that. We have two properties that's how we acquired them, was through that,
so.
and
it's
FEMA
possible.
buying them out because of the flooding.
That was a hazard mitigation.
so if you just
Well,
stay on the
but
north side,
we, the
yeah.
same,
what if I want to keep the
yeah,
mineral
we
rights?
ended
It's
up
still
with
under,
two that way.
it's, yeah, it's the
Something like that.
hazard
They
mitigation.
turn it over, they turn everything over.
Oh, they
don't keep
do?
nothing.
Oh, I'm not in that, because I ain't giving up my mineral rights. They ain't gonna buy my land and take my mineral rights too.
I have no idea about mineral rights, but.
Yeah, because I mean, if they gonna come in and buy your land, they own it. And if you don't have a clause saying that this Haynesville shell keeps moving our direction, you just lost the opportunity if you out in a little area in the Ashland, Louisiana.
Well, I'm sure that there's gonna be some,
But it would give you the opportunity to talk to the federal government about doing it.
Yeah,
Where-
it keeps the options available, because
For the
if you,
parishioners.
if you don't
Yep.
opt in, you're never gonna have that discussion.
Okay, and
Sure.
And they said something about, you could dig, is it for retention ponds?
Coffee. Well,
Well, and somebody said they needed some dirt
Well,
tonight.
Yeah, well, there is a limitation on what, like you said, what you can do for it.
Yeah.
But and that's mostly structures and
Yeah,
things
I
that
read
would
that.
flood.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
you would own the property, and you could do what's not
yeah,
excluded.
we might be able to put a solar farm on it, who knows?
Yes, yeah.
You could do a nice crawfish pond, and we could all eat well.
Uh-huh. But you need a big piece of property.
Moving
I'm
on.
afraid this is small.
All right.
We've been right along
John
out of the
Cohen.
crawfish hole.
Next, council to vote to have a legislative audit done for the parish of Natchitoches.
All right?
Any questions?
I don't know what that means.
Look at me. Okay.
Explain it to them, Marty.
Is this just a full scope audit or a selected audit?
I'd say 4 scope audit from A to Z.
And what would that cost and?
I don't know. We'll see.
From the legislative auditor?
Yep. I haven't a clue yet what the cost is.
And what's, okay, I'm just trying to understand, we have a normal cycle for the audits, right? And so this is an additional,
But the audits I think we get now are basically our financial audits. We don't have anything that audits all the operations that we do in the parish.
I don't know if I understand
They
that.
don't, I mean, her grants audit her is called a monitoring visit, where they come in and they say, we get those with LWI, we get those with FEMA. Yeah, all the grants, they do that. And this is a question y'all can ask the auditors Friday, but my understanding is a legislative audit would be just financials, but that they, I don't think,
Right here,
you can ask for one, but I don't know how that works, honestly.
It's
it
in the
said,
Coleman Charter has it in there.
section 2.2-07 under investigations, it's on page 5 of the Home Rule Charter. It say the council made by a 2/3 vote conduct an investigation or request the legislative auditor, district attorney, or U.S. attorney to conduct investigation into the affairs of the parish government and related conduct of any parish government, official, officer, employee, department, office, or agency. Investigation shall be for specified purposes, which must be reduced to writing before beginning the investigation.
So, my understanding, and that's kind of what I know about it, I don't really know, is there has to be,
Gotta narrow it down.
you had to say you want to audit X, what else? The Department of Community Services, or you want to audit,
Yeah, you have to put it in writing, you have to be specified,
Right.
because when we went to do this many years ago, when they wanted to do this, and we sent down there to the legislative auditor, and they sent it back. Sharon can tell you, is that they say, we're not coming up here because y'all got such a broad area. You need to break it down, and you need to tell us, specify, be specific of which area you want us to come in and target.
Right.
So if,
And why.
Right. So if the council, it has to be 2/3 of them agree to do it, and once they agree to do it, then we have to sit and compose the letter and everything and send it down there.
Yeah. And just because you send it don't mean they will,
No, they have
because
to look.
Miss Huber used to,
Well, that's what I'm saying, we sent it down there multiple times.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I'm not sure.
and as far as I know, and I've only been here 5 years, how many times has the legislative auditor come to audit that you know of?
Since I've been here 39, I don't know either.
Well, they never did come because they were too
It
broad.
was too broad.
It's too broad.
Okay.
But when you send it, if they vote on it Monday, they have to be very specific
More specific.
about what they want. That's all.
All
All right.
The voting the Monday would be, do we
Want to do it.
want to do it?
Yeah.
Then you sit down.
So not what it's on, just if you want to do it?
If you
If you
want
want
to.
to
So
do
they
it.
would be, so everybody would be asked to vote just to do it blindly without knowing what to audit?
Yeah, so that wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
yes.
That's gonna be a blind.
So, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
A legislative audit
okay.
is fine.
Visitors and whatever. Okay, but this what I wanna, talk about right now, is that we're hosting the Region 4 meeting, the Police Jury Region 4 meeting. It's gonna be October the 23rd. And it's gonna be at the event center. And right now, October 23rd at the event center, starting where it's starting at 5 o'clock. We all gonna be over there, but the actual meeting is 5 to 6 for the social and registration, and 7 o'clock is when the meeting and the dinner would start. And we're in the process of Julie, Kathy, Malona, myself, and Jennifer is in the planning stages of it now. What I need you to do now, we are working on everything. They sending out the sponsorship letters to send out to the sponsors so we can kind of cut costs of getting door prizes and costs of the material that we need, like the bags and the portfolios that we're gonna give, and the food costs, and the event center was cheap because they're doing 20% because we was a parish, which is gonna be $750 that we're gonna have to pay for them. But I need y'all to read your email. Only one councilman respond back to me about the shirts. One councilman, some of the councilmen wanna say they wanna be uniform. Mr. Kerry is the only one that sent back to me saying his desire, what he prefer. So I need y'all to open up y'all email and reply back to me so we can all choose, because it all depends on you, parish president, what y'all wanna wear. Then the staff, we can decide what we wanna wear. So, and y'all all need to clear y'all schedule for that day, October the 23rd, so y'all all can need to be there to represent all parish employees, and staff need to be there, because that's something we hosting.
Yeah.
And we wanna look good and be there and make sure everything is right. That's all I can say. Julie, got anything to say about that?
No, agreed. We don't wanna come off like some of these other parishes.
That's right.
No.
And we wanna, and if y'all know anyone that y'all know that we need to give a solicitation letter to, please let us know when we send it out, because the more we get, the less cost it's gonna have on the parish.
And better job we can do too.
Hmm.
And the better it will be when you
Right.
have nice stuff and have nice door prizes and all
Cause
that.
I'm just telling you, last year we went to one, it was horrible.
Oh, really?
So I'm just letting you know, so we don't wanna be like that. We
What
wanna
parish
look
was
good.
that?
Kinda.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm
They
just
could
saying.
afford.
They just had different priorities. It was at the Petroleum Club. It probably cost them a whole lot of money for that venue.
Wednesday.
The food, I mean, the food was pretty good.
Rubber chicken?
But I think they just had different priorities. I think they had one door prize.
One door
maybe?
prize.
And then we've gone to some's way out in like Homer, and they had
10, 12.
they had
TVs.
they had all
grills,
kinds of stuff.
everything. You know.
And their food was really good. So I mean, it's just I think different priorities. We just want them to,
And we want to go there.
and it's once every 10 years. So it's not like this is something
We host once every 10 years.
once every
Right.
10
Oh,
years.
okay.
We
Yes.
host every 10 years.
Yeah, so
Once
we
every
need
10
we
Our
need to do
year to
this right.
host.
Yeah, the first time we did it was 2013. It was
All
real
right.
nice.
I will not be deer hunting on that day. I'm gonna clear the calendar.
Yeah, so I'm asking all your council members to clear your calendar for October the 23rd, and please let me know what kind of shirt y'all would like to have, a polo, button-down shirt, and I think it's gonna be the button-down shirt for y'all, but just need to know what color.
It ain't gonna be pink, is it?
No, I ain't gonna
Is there a
put you
problem with
pink.
that?
They want.
Pink.
You can wear it.
Okay.
I guess if the majority vote says pink, it can be pink.
Not mine.
No, we're okay. I'm okay, my man. I
I
can
know
wear
we
pink.
didn't go through Sharon
Y'all
or
know.
I's reports. Is there
Oh, I'm
anything?
sorry, I got.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we ready to go too, but if there's something y'all need.
One thing, real quick, on, I just got notice this morning with our 40 pounds, or they call it the cheese box. There, it's gonna be on the 20th. I put it in the, it's gonna be on the 20th, but I was informed this morning that my agency would have to issue out everything. They would not send anyone to help.
What day is that?
That's on a Tuesday, the 20th. They will not send anyone out to help. So we're in the process now, we're getting volunteers to help us, because those boxes are 40 pounds.
So, more care will be there.
So they're just gonna deliver them and drop them
They're just
in?
gonna drop them off at the cinema, at the movie theater,
Oh,
and we have to issue them out.
If Deneen and Roger, if it works out with their work schedule, I'm more than happy to let them help.
I'll clear Mark's schedule.
So basically, I'm closing my office during those times, so all of us will be.
We'll get you help.
But, I told them because of communications and it's for the people, I will make adjustment. But next month, I will not make
Well,
adjustments.
can you send that to me so I can send it to the council in case they not doing anything?
I think they done canceled.
I would come help,
Sure.
but I'm not gonna be here. John has
47
surgery on Tuesday.
I was sure.
I know, but I would like to help.
She's
The
doing-
20th.
The 20th.
What time is it? What time?
They haven't told me the time. I think it's like from 8 to 12, I think that's what they said.
is that this month or next month?